Okay, this is Spencer from Tampa, Florida, South Tampa. I'm on a commercial job where we're hanging glossy wallpaper. And when you're hanging glossy wallpaper, the job has to be as perfect as humanly possible. Because with glossy paper, if there are any inflections or waves in the wall, certainly any lumps, it will show up like a glaring, a glaring tumor, so to speak. So it looks to you, perhaps, actually I can see one right in the camera right now. You see this right here? See that? You can see that, see that? You see that horizontal bump? So, okay, so that's a good example of, today's standards, unfortunately, and I tell all my clients this, you have to hire a professional. If you don't, that's what you're gonna get. Now that may not look like a big deal to you, but when you throw the glossy wallpaper on in a very fancy establishment, such as the one I'm working in, it's a glaring, it's a professional faux pas. You don't want that. So anyway, I'm going over the job that was already done, and this is going on. This is why I videotape these jobs. This is going on repeatedly. Today's construction standards are such that people are not producing to the best of their ability. That's the only way I know how to, that's the only way I can say it. So now, let me introduce you to the setup, which I've done on other videos, but I just want to show you this setup. Now, because the carpet has been installed on this particular job, we have to protect the carpet. So now we have plastic. I'm dealing with wet compound. And so I put my construction paper down because I'm going to be slinging mud. Excuse me for a moment while I mount this camera back in. When you're slinging mud, you're going to be dropping a lot of mud, which is normal as you're working quickly. I have a full water bucket. Whenever you're dealing with plaster, you want to have a nice filled up water bucket because your tools have to be freshly clean all the time. Let me show you. You can always tell a professional by the way he or she keeps the tools he or she uses, okay? That's my hawk. This is my 6-inch taping knife. This is the tool I'm going to be scooping the compound with. Now this is my 14-inch bull float. I love this one. I've used this before. This is when your arm is getting tired, which my arm already is tired. I feel like I pitched a Major League Baseball game already. You see this? This is a 20-inch trowel. This is for when the plaster is nice and wet. You move this around, the plaster moves. I mean, it's such precision. This tool is excellent. And these two together, both hands going, right? You can cover a lot of space in a short amount of time. So let's get to it, all right? I'm just gonna start compounding the walls. The idea is what? You see these lumps? I mean, I'm looking at them in the camera. See this one right here, which I pointed out already? So that's a protrusion in the wall. That's a horizontal protrusion. It's coming out. So how do I get rid of that? You might say sand it. You'll be here all day. This is how you get rid of it. You take your knife. What you're seeing is less than 1/8 of an inch over the span of 3 or 4 inches, and that's the ugly bump that it makes. Less than 1/8 of an inch. Had it been a longer span, 1/8 of an inch over a foot, you wouldn't see it. Do you understand what I mean? So this is 4 inches. See these bumps? If this were spanned out, if that bump came out over a wider expanse, we wouldn't be replastering the walls. But people don't know the tools that they gotta use, or they don't know how to use them. I don't know which one it is. So that's why I'm here. All right, let's get going. So I'm dealing with a brand new bucket of compound, and so what do you do with that? You want to mix it up. Why? It's brand new. Why mix it up? Well, there's a lot of air in it. And so when you mix it up, you make it really soft and mushy. It's tense right now. It's hard to manipulate. But once you mix it up, a YouTube buddy of mine, Paul Ricalde, he's an excellent carpenter. Check his videos out on YouTube. Paul Ricalde, R-I-C-A-L-D-E. He told me that, and I've been plastering a long time. He said, mix up your new stuff. I tried it. He's absolutely right. You know, you can never stop learning. So anyway, let's get to it. So I'm going to mix up my compound. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Okay. So I have a mixer. Now, you don't want to be doing this with your drill. You're going to blow out your drill. You need a motor that's strong enough that can take the heat that's generated from mixing this kind of weight, all right? There's a variable speed control on this tool. So I'm going to go slow first, then we'll speed her up. You can hear the air in it, by the way. You know, when they whip it up, air gets trapped in the liquid, and so it gets trapped in the compound, consequently. See, I got my paddle all the way into the bucket, so it's not going to spin and go all over the place and spit the compound all over. Slowing it down because I'm going to now take the paddle out. I'm done. It's real soft. It looks like cake batter right now. Look at that. Look how beautiful. You don't want to get your fingers caught in this thing unless you pull the plug out. Rip your fingers right off. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. Now I'm going to put this right into my bucket, which is covered with a bunch of tools. And then I'm going to spin it because I don't have the time to wash it off, right? So this is going to clean it. It's going to spin it at a high rate and throw the compound and the water together and clean my paddle. Now what I also have is a brush. So you can't see that right now. See? Just cleaning this thing. Just show you what I'm doing. Let's see. How did I do? Not too bad. There's always a little residual compound on the tines. You want to get it off because if you let this dry, first of all, it's a pain to clean it after it's dry. Secondly, this, believe it or not, affects the next batch you mix. you have to clean this stuff out. Even though it's a pain, you gotta get it off. And you know who taught me that? Kirk Giordano from Alameda, California. He's a master plasterer. He's a stucco man. And the guy taught me so many things. He's a great plasterer. Check him out on YouTube as well. Kirk Giordano. All right, so now I'm ready. Just gonna pull the plug out of this. You never know. I got a little puddle there. All right, so we're ready to start plastering. You like plastering? Get another guy when you do it. You know, somebody who knows what he's doing. Not a lazy person. There's so many lazy workers out there, you know? It's difficult. And if you're plastering, stick to your price. Don't let somebody determine what the price is for your work. I'm gonna tell you why. If you're really good at what you do, stick to your price. There are a lot of illegals interfering with we who pay our taxes and demand a certain rate per day. And so the illegals have affected our daily rate consequently. And they don't do a great job either. Because construction is taking advantage of their cheap labor and paying them garbage, and they're getting garbage work for it, for the most part. So then they call me when they mess up. And I stick to my price, and you should too. Okay, now let's start, all right? Let me just clean up this mess here. Okay, now. Be right with you. Now there's a couple of ways to apply the compound. I'll show you one that I like. It's not absolutely necessary that you do it like this. This is something you would have a helper do. But are you a contractor? Have you hired helpers? Unless you have your steady guy who's standing around like this, you know. And then, you know, you're paying them to do the job, right? And then they don't do it unless you tell them exactly what to do. by the way, one thing you should have when you're doing this work is life insurance. No, I'm just kidding. One thing that you should have while you plaster is let me just spin this around. I love when my wires get all messed up and discombobulated. Okay. So, a water bottle, because the compound starts drying. It's another way you can do it. You know, you drop a rag in the water and but that's one of the ways. It's just another thing to fall and break, but it's a good tool to have. Now, what determines which trowel do I use? Well, it's basically preference, except for when you have to get into the corner. You see these 90-degree corners? You would use that. You're not gonna get into a corner with this thing. But I gotta be honest, this bull float is my favorite. Okay. So now, and I like to hold both in my hands in case I need it, and you just switch it. The boss said to me, "You're gonna sand that? You're gonna make a mess?" You know what I told him? When I'm done, this ain't gonna need to be sanded. Perfection. Not easy. Your arm is gonna hurt. But you know what? You can do it. This is the tool. You just put the pressure on, you hold the tool at a 45-degree angle from the wall. If you're putting all your muscle into it, it's gonna do for you what it's doing for me. I'm going to take you up close to this. You know what's amazing? If they sand this, they're going to ruin it. That's how good this is. I'm serious. Now let me take you over. To be true to you, let me take you over to the wall. Look where I just did that. Check it out. What do you think? Check it out. I love perfection. That's what you gotta do. Why do something unless you're gonna try to do it perfectly, right? And if you don't do it perfectly, try to do it perfectly. Try again. Marshalltown doesn't pay me jack to recommend their products, but I gotta tell you, get one of these things. It's sturdy, it's powerful. It doesn't give when you put the pressure on it. This is the tool to go with. The other ones aren't as strong. You see the wall, the adjacent wall over there? That's wallpaper. Why am I not protecting that wall? Well, what am I going to put on the wall? Here's the problem. If I put on tape, I could pull some of the color off. If I just wash it after this stuff comes off, it's like talcum powder, you know? And it's commercial grade wallpaper. It comes right off. But if I start messing with tape and masking stuff, I don't want to try that. I found out the hard way. Let's just put it that way. Give you a different angle. See how I did that? Watch this. So you want the whole blade to have compound on it. You have it right there. If you go like this, it's only in the middle, right? So you do a sliding action. The compound will attach to the blade as you watch this. See that? Now it's all over the thing.
I know you are famous, huh? I saw you are famous.
Was on YouTube?
Yeah. Saw your videos on YouTube.
Wonderful, man. You like them?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just watch one.
Thank you very much.
Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be in a video.
No, that's all right.
Oh my God. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Just doing one of my plastering videos.
What's that?
I'm just doing another plastering video.
Wow.
It's tough being a star. If you like the video, please click on like to help me gain more exposure. And subscribe to my channel. So, all right. As I drag the blade against the wall, I'm putting all my might into it. That's the only thing. If you're not doing it right, that would be the only thing I would tell you. Are you putting all the might in your arm on it? One last thing. The benefit of using the bull float, this rounded float, is it doesn't make track marks, as opposed to the 90-degree angle one, the other one that I have. You'll see that the other one, at the edges, it makes track marks because there's a point on it. There's no point here. So you get a nice feathered edge, as they say. So I'm gonna conclude this video, because let me just show you this one last technique. This is a really easy way to spread plaster. When you're pulling up, when you go up and you pull down. I think it's because the muscles that are used to pull down are a lot stronger than the ones that go sideways. There's one more thing I should tell you. What I'm not telling you is this. After you apply the plaster, don't go back over it. So if you come down, then go up. Because once you apply the plaster, and you're only applying the plaster on the first, sometimes the first, but no more than the second stroke. In other words, if you bring down your blade once, you might want to thin it out with a second pass, but that's it. Now you can't touch that again with the blade, ever, until it's dry, then you'll be painting it. The way you do that, after you apply, let's say you stop right here. The next application is going to be from bottom up. And you're just going to meet where you left off and kind of just overlap it and then pull the blade off, okay? That's the other thing. That's the other thing that a lot of guys make mistakes with. They put an impression in the plaster because they just put it on. First of all, if you're making impressions on the plaster, you put it on too thick. And so if you finish off at this level, you come up and then you finish off, and then it's called like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like when you're painting, you're rolling it, and you just pull the roller off, and the roller spins. That's the way you finish off, when you touch the two edges of plaster, and you finish them off. So you start above and below, and then you get on a ladder, and you go up, and you start a new above and a below. So it's not like you have to start all the way up at the top of a ceiling. You're generally working in about 3 foot space, like 3 feet above, 3 feet below. So you pull your blade up 3 feet, you pull your blade down 3 feet, and you meet in the middle. That's how you do it. Okay, listen, I'm gonna end this video now. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned something from it. If not, I tried. Questions, put them in the comment section. I'll try to answer them. And please subscribe to my channel and click on like if this video helped you. Thank you.